Hi there, I'm Holly McDonald with the Costa Mesa Pod, where we discuss all things concerning the lifestyle, businesses, and activities that make our area such a great place to live. Today I've got Sarah Wilson with me. Hello, Sarah.
Hi.
Hi.
So great to be here.
So glad to have you. Sarah is just a wealth of information. She is not only a mom, she's also a podcast host of Everything's Messy. She's also a wellness coach and apparently used to be a 911 dispatcher. So we're learning lots of things here. But Sarah, how do you introduce yourself today?
Yeah, definitely wife, mom, podcaster. As we were talking, I'm obsessed with it. Wellness coach, and just I call myself a data nerd. I love to go down the rabbit holes, and I'm just endlessly looking for answers and information. So I'm mostly referred to a lot in my family as the geek. But if there's an answer, I'm going to find it. So
that's a good skill to have.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, yeah.
I want to hear a little bit more about your backstory.
Yeah. So starting with the podcast, or just
let's find out a little bit about you,
Yeah.
and then go right into how that led to the creation of Everything's Messy.
Yeah. So obviously talking about life is messy and everything's messy. At 15 years old, I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, which is an autoimmune disease. A lot of people don't know type 1 being autoimmune, and then type 2 is metabolic. So there are differences, but a lot of times we get lumped into the same place.
Yeah.
And it always frustrated me because there was a lot of information out there on type 2, but not a lot on type 1. So that kind of started my whole searching for answers type thing.
That's where the data-driven start.
Yes, yes. And then, as you mentioned, I got into public service. I started as an EMT, and then I quickly realized I didn't actually like touching people.
Oh.
I wanted to help people.
Yeah.
I didn't actually like putting hands on that kind of, just the mess.
Yeah.
Right?
Wow. Crazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I wanted to help people. And so I was able to do that in a safe place behind the microphone, as we are now, and just helping people on their worst day, because most people in their lifetime, on average, call 911 once. And I wanted to be the one that would assure them or help them or that kind of thing. And then that just sort of has led into a whole life of just wanting to help people in general. So, yeah.
So all about communication.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. And just, we are all connected in some way. And just the more that I can make a connection, whether it's on maybe something unpleasant or something pleasant, or just we're all searching, looking. I think one of the good things that came out of COVID is I think all of us realized we needed to be around people. We needed to have a connection. And so I think trying to spin something positive and just really leaning into connecting with people, because I do like that.
Yeah. And it's something that we get distracted from communicating now, or the way we communicate isn't necessarily, it's not necessarily resonating for everybody. So.
Yes.
Funny story. When I was younger, I was 9 or 10, I was acting as a mother's helper for somebody down the street, and I was going to make a phone call, and I either hit 9 by accident, or that was the first number of the phone number. And apparently if you just click these old phones really quick, if you click it fast, it dials a 1. So I clicked it again, and didn't get the dial tones. And 911 was dispatched to the property. So
yeah.
And
was that the only time you called?
That's the only time I've called 911.
On average, people need to
so hopefully that's it. But I mean, I have heard 911 calls, and obviously you hear the voice and the tonality, and obviously the job is to communicate as effectively as possible and keep people calm and level-headed when they're going through their hard times.
Their hardest time.
Yeah.
Yes. And it's so funny too. So I was very good at crisis and crisis management and having to think very quickly. And then I had children. And it didn't bleed over into that for some reason. Because when I think it's your own, you're just operating on a different level of, that's my baby, what's happening. And so I was not, I'm better now. But when it became first as a new mom, of course,
it's overstimulation. Have you ever had to call 911 for your kids? Okay, that would be horrifying.
Absolutely.
But yes, no, I can completely relate. I have a 4 and a 6-year-old, and it's interesting how much more patience I have with other people's kids than my own. You know, they just know how to press your buttons.
Yes.
And also, like, everything seems more scary when it's your own child.
Of course. But it's so funny. And my husband, he is also a first responder. And we talk about, you know, he doesn't change. It's the same level-headed, no matter what it is, you know, our children have been hurt and things like that. And, you know, we've been able to manage it. And like I said, I thought I was really good in crises.
Yeah.
But then I had my own children and
Sure. I think that's very normal.
And I think they say first responders, nurses, we make the worst patients. And that's also true because you're trying to figure out what they're doing to you as they're doing it to you. And so we're like, no, we don't need this. We don't need this.
I would say realtors probably make them worse house buyers too, or clients
really?
as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because you're looking at everything.
Yeah. We're
Yes.
looking at everything. We know everything.
Details.
Yeah.
Yeah. Details matter.
I think anybody in their own profession is probably their worst client.
Probably so.
So anyway, so everything's messy. I like the title.
Thank you.
And I think everybody on some level could relate because we're all trying so hard to act like everything's perfect. And that's so much harder to attain than just accepting the fact that everything's messy. Why don't you share a little bit more about how that was born?
Well, kind of a lot into a pot, but it started, I had a heart attack 6 days before I turned 43 years old, now 46.
Oh my gosh.
It was obviously life-changing. It was obviously very messy. It was not due to high blood pressure. It was not due to high cholesterol. It was due to copious amounts of stress. And being a type 1, there were some factors of unregulated blood sugar and things like that. I mean, I was diagnosed at 15, so right in the middle of adolescence. As you can imagine, that's the hardest time anyway. And now you put on this autoimmune disease, and I'm supposed to have it all figured out and know what to do, and I did not.
Was that where did you have to like measure your glucose and stuff all the time?
This is like 1995, so there were not insulin pumps, there were not automatic glucose machines. There were, it was, you know, checking my finger 6 times a day, having to give myself injections into my stomach. Again, 15, and I will totally call myself out. I was a rebellious teenager.
Yeah.
And so I didn't always do what I should have done. And so many years of that led to this. And again, plus the stress of just life.
Yeah.
And not putting myself first.
Being a mom.
Being a mom.
All of that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And not in a martyr type way, just we get focused and dialed in on our children and the other things that need to be taken care of. And whatever's left or what's not left is what we put towards ourselves. And I also very much struggled with making sure that their needs were always met, not mine. And then I would feel guilty if I went to do something for myself. Yeah. And I had to get over that.
Mom guilt is a serious thing.
Yeah.
I have it all the time.
Yeah.
I find when I make time for myself, it has to be before the kids are awake. And that's the only time.
Getting up earlier.
Yeah.
Yes.
You have to figure it out, right? And I'm sure as a wellness coach, you're really good at giving advice for how to make it work. But yeah, when you're in the middle of it,
it's hard.
It is so hard.
It's hard.
And these little humans are depending on you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, and what I've learned though, especially after the heart attack, because I had to start taking care of myself and I had to put myself, you know, spiritually, physically, mentally, all of these things had to come first. I thought I was doing the right thing by always putting their needs first. What's interesting, especially I have 2 daughters and a son, my daughters would notice, oh, mom needs her 15 minutes. And they were like happy that I was getting it.
Aww.
And then they are starting to mimic. They need to make sure they take their 15 minutes. So it's actually generationally being passed down that you don't have to do everything. You don't have to sacrifice everything. I'm actually teaching them good habits. And here I was carrying this guilt this whole time.
That's so good.
When they're okay. They're okay. Mine are older than yours now, so it is a little bit different. But
still
teaching them those habits that it's okay to take time for yourself, that it's okay to, you know, even if it's just 2 minutes to go breathe, you know.
Yeah.
It's so funny. I always tell this story, but I didn't know how to properly breathe. And I know this is that's such a crazy thing to say.
I think I understand.
Yeah. Yeah. But I literally had to learn in my rehabilitation for the heart attack to learn how to take big, deep belly breaths and hold them and let them out. This whole time I had been shallow breathing.
Yeah.
And it's such a big thing that our body, that oxygen and just resetting our brain, I had not been breathing correctly.
Yeah, I think I understand because sometimes if I'm very agitated or stressed, I find that if I do just slow down and really focus on breathing like all the way in, like filling up my chest, like not the shallow breathing, and then like letting it out slowly, it makes a huge difference.
It really does. And
Yeah.
people sort of make fun of me for it. And I'm like, you don't know what you're missing. You don't understand. And then when I really got into the practice of it and just learning how to box breathe and these different modalities, and it's like, wow, here I'm thinking I need expensive rituals or and I don't. I just need to learn how to breathe.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's so funny that some of these things are so simple, right? And you would think that they're just like human nature, right?
Right.
But you don't come out of the womb and someone's like teaching you how to breathe. Like it is, we all have our natural tendencies.
Yeah.
And then if you add on stress or anything else going on in life, I mean, even if you, I don't know, had a cramp and you one day started breathing differently because you're trying to like avoid that pain, then you could easily just start to like compensate.
Right.
So,
Right.
Yeah. Well, I know you had our friend Erin on your podcast with mental skincare.
Yes. She's such a doll.
She is amazing. Yes. How did you two connect?
So we connected through another mutual friend who actually does like photography and things like that. And she had done her photography and then she did mine. And then she's like, I think you guys need to talk. You need to meet.
Yeah.
And it was sort of in the beginning of kind of starting Everything's Messy. And she has a messy story.
Yeah.
And it was connection, and she was so courageous in wanting to talk about it, and I just knew it had to be shared. It had to be shared, as so many of our stories do. And I think that's why messy is, that word is just all encompassing, because I don't think you'll find anybody on earth who doesn't have a messy story, and if they do, God bless them.
Yeah.
But most of us have some sort of thing, maybe not on the level of others, but everybody's dealing with something. Everybody's going through something. And I think one of the things that I had to learn, especially like I said, after my heart attack, everything just stopped. Full force, completely stopped for me.
Yeah.
And I had started in my mind, okay, I need to start doing this. And like running forward, racing forward to what the end and the finish line would look like. And I missed all of the stuff in between. So I almost had to go back and start again. And it was like, okay,
oh my gosh,
I need to realize this is my mess right now. I had to come to terms with some of the things that I had to deal with were of my own doing.
Yeah.
Some of it out of my control, which if you think of that word control, I always hate that word. But a lot of us, we feel and know and think we are in control when really we're not. And that was really hard for me to accept.
Yes. I think we're on the same wavelength there.
Yes.
It's like wanting to be able to control everything. And if you do this, then this should happen.
Right.
And you're just trying so hard to
trying to plan for everything when really you just can't.
Yeah.
And so you need to find different tools. One of the tools that I really found was I needed to sit right here in this mess, ugly cry. I'm talking, I was in the hospital for a week and just ugly cry.
Yeah.
And just realize this is my reality now. As I want to move forward, and I don't want to be a victim. I want to move forward. But right now, I need to ride every single messy wave and deal with it.
Like actually face it.
Right. In a way that I had never done before.
Yeah.
But what I found through that was so beautiful, because that actually gave me strength to get through all of that and then start at step one. Step one being acceptance. Just accepting it. This is what's happened.
Yeah.
And being okay with it. That was really hard. It was really hard.
I feel like most people, if they faced what you face, having a heart attack when you're young and you have children, that would feel like the biggest calamity that could happen, right? Like, you're fortunate you made it through. Yes. You were only in the hospital for a week, although I'm sure there was a lot that you had to deal with after this. But how was that for your family?
Terrifying. Terrifying. Well, and it's very strange. I had no symptoms.
Okay.
And I think it's really important women understand that for women, there can be no symptoms. I had no back pain, no jaw pain, no chest pain. I was a little bit extra tired.
Okay.
And as a mom, who isn't?
Yeah, you wouldn't think twice about that.
Wouldn't think twice about it. But my oldest, at the time she was 16, she, was very, one of the first of my children to sort of understand type 1, kind of what you do in an emergency and things like that. And so she says to me, out of the mouths of babes, I'm telling you, she says to me, I'd rather you go to the hospital and just get checked out, thinking it's a diabetic related thing.
Yeah.
Just go get checked out, than have to tell my brother and sister why the firemen are coming in because you're on the bathroom floor passed out. Well, that's all I needed to hear.
Yeah, and this is just because you were a little bit more tired.
I just kept saying it doesn't feel normal. I can't tell you exactly what it was.
Yeah.
I want to say divine intervention at this point.
Yeah.
But there was no specific symptom that I can tell you this is how I knew I was having a heart.
And it's almost like your daughter gave you permission because you said that you typically were putting everybody else first.
And this is a Sunday. We need to get ready for the week. We need to get dinner on the table. We need to get ready for school, all the things. And she says, just go have them checked. Maybe it's something that it's not your blood sugar or whatever. And so permission, I went. The whole time I'm driving to the hospital, the narrative in my head is you're being crazy. They're probably going to tell you you're having a panic attack or an anxiety attack. There's so many other people that need the help. Like, why are you going to bother anybody? That's literally what I'm telling myself. Like, I wasn't even worth it to get checked out.
Oh my gosh.
And I didn't ask for help. Didn't ask the neighbor. I drove myself to the hospital. And they come in and they hook me up to the EKG machine just to check everything. And with an EMT background, I know what it should look like. Yeah. And so it's sort of rolling hills on top, that should be the rhythm. Well, this was inverted. This was a W going upside down.
Oh.
And the nurse looked at me and says, you're in the middle of having a massive heart attack.
Oh my gosh.
I was in denial. I was, what are you talking about? I'm fine. What are you talking about? And then fast forward, I was basically stripped down. They put double IVs in my arms, and my husband's out of town. Of course, the kids are home. So now I'm thinking, did I just kiss my kids goodbye for the last time? I'm on the phone with my husband. You need to get here. He was in California. We were in Colorado at the time. Yeah. Like, you need to come. I don't know what's happening. They're taking me to the lab. I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
And so it's just, I feel like I'm in this tornado and I'm in the middle and it's all whirling around me and I'm just sitting here.
Oh my gosh.
So I had to I just had to sit there.
Yeah.
And wonderful nurse, as I'm in there and, they sedate you, but I'm awake. She's like, I'm going to take a before and after picture. And she's like telling me everything's going to be okay. But I didn't know at that moment it would be okay. I didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know. And funny enough, as I'm sitting there, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I hope my husband's okay on the plane. Not even concerned about me being in the lab.
Oh my gosh. Yes, you were wired to support everybody else.
Right.
Yeah.
My kids were home. And again, my oldest was 16 at the time. Like they were old enough to be alone and do the things, but it's just that's where our mind goes, right?
Yeah.
That's what we're thinking about.
Wow.
When something's literally happening to me.
So fast forward, fortunately, you're okay. You have to make some big changes.
Yes, big changes.
So I assume part of that was moving to California.
So we're originally from California.
Okay.
We had moved to Colorado. We thought maybe my husband would transfer up there and that's where we were going to be. It didn't work out, I think, with COVID and he wasn't able to transfer. So we moved back shortly after the heart attack and just started over, which is also hard. I think I read it's in the top 5 of a very stressful event like divorce and death and things like that. Well, I had just gone through a heart attack and then we moved.
And you didn't just move like across town. I mean, at least you knew California, but that's a lot.
Yes, there was a lot going on. And when we finally got settled back here, I had so much angst and just, what's my step going forward? And like I said, I was in cardiac rehabilitation. They had taught me a lot of things, but they didn't teach me all the things.
Yeah.
And one of the things that they had said, and at this point, because I had been so rebellious with my diabetes in the beginning, I told myself, I'm going to listen to whatever they say. Right. Whatever they say, I'm going to do. Well, part of that was the diet, and part of what they were encouraging us to do was go vegan.
Okay.
Now, I've had many, many conversations with vegans on my podcast. if that is your lifestyle for you, I absolutely respect it.
Yeah.
And we've talked about it before. For me, it actually made me sicker.
Oh.
I was to the point so anemic where I was going to need a blood transfusion. I had all of my levels were just completely like it was not helping me.
Yeah.
So I started doing the rabbit hole deep diving and I found carnivore. And I'm like, okay, well, this is the complete opposite of what I'm doing now. So I should probably just see if it works.
It's all like iron, isn't it?
Right.
Okay.
It was a complete game changer. I started feeling better. I wasn't tired anymore. My blood sugar had leveled out. Like everything was amazing. Unfortunately, and I'm sure the carnivores are not going to like this, but it was not sustainable for me.
Yeah.
There's a lot of just, not that I would ever get tired of steak, but you do.
You get tired of anything.
You get tired of anything. And so I had to then find my own way of like, okay, I'm going to add back, again, all whole foods, but add back certain things at a time. And so now I'm at a better place where it's just sort of better rounded.
Yeah.
And again, nothing against vegans or anybody that's doing that. It just didn't work for me.
Yeah, everybody's different.
Everybody's different.
Well, and also you have the added complication of having diabetes. So is that when you started the wellness coaching?
So no, I got into wellness coaching accidentally. Okay. And I think a lot of coaches say this. After figuring out that the way that they were teaching me through the hospital program was not working for me.
Yeah.
What else did I not know? What else did I not understand? And just learning about my body. So I started taking all these nutrition courses, all of these like master classes of just wellness and all this kind of stuff that would lead me into the program of being a wellness coach. But I still wasn't doing it for anyone else. I was still trying to get a better version of what I knew and what I could accomplish.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And then some of these things started to click. And then I would have conversations and it was like, well, I can help you with that. Or I can, let me just tell you what I know. Let me just share. And that turned into, oh my gosh, now I know these things. I want to scream them from the rooftop and tell everybody.
You just want everybody to know.
I just want everybody to know. And so that was sort of born the podcast.
Awesome.
Because I felt like I needed to share not only my story, the, misinformation about women and knowing the symptoms of having a heart attack because scary statistic, heart disease is number 1 for women, breast cancer being number 2. And we need all of the research and information we can for breast cancer. But I don't think women are getting talked about enough with heart disease. Everybody thinks of men. Everybody thinks of the widowmaker and things like that. It's number 1 for women, number 1.
So it needs definitely more exposure.
Yeah.
Well, and so it's good that you can, I mean, it's unfortunate that you had to go through it, of course, but because of your experience, of course you want to shout it from the rooftops and let everybody know the different things and how they can be prepared.
That, and unfortunately, my age was not an anomaly. There are many women who are having heart attacks in their 40s.
Yeah.
And it's concerning. It's very concerning.
I'm going to have a heart attack now thinking about this. No, for real though. But I mean, thank you so much for educating. There's so much to be concerned about, and there's so many other things that put your concern on your kids, your family, but being somebody like yourself that is data driven and likes to do the deep dive on the research and then is really good at communicating it with people. It really is the full circle.
Yeah.
Your life it's doing so much good for other people.
And that's, if one woman hears this and just feels extra tired or just something isn't right, just go get the EKG, just go get checked.
Yeah.
Just see what's happening. And, I think that was the other thing too with COVID. A lot of this stuff, especially with type 1, they're always telling you about get your kidneys checked, make sure, that kind of stuff's happening. And with COVID and everything that happened, my appointments started becoming Zoom and things like that. Okay. And so nobody really was putting eyes on me to be like, oh, you're over 40 now, you should have your heart checked. Yeah. I'm telling every woman and men too, but get your.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, I don't know if there's a strong difference or not, but you can get EKG machines even like for your own home.
So now they have, and maybe even they did then, but again, because I wasn't educated about it, but yes, you have your smart watches. You have all of these things that can kind of nudge you and say, might want to,
Yeah.
check this out. But again, not being educated in that way and now feeling like everybody needs to know.
Yeah. I mean, I think I just saw on the news this morning a headline about the Aura ring. And that's one of the ones that checks pretty much everything. And I mean, it's like a multi-billion-dollar company.
Right.
And there's competitors. And so there's lots of options.
Yes. But I think even the smartwatch, it keeps because it does data all day long every day.
Yes.
So, and that's important.
You must love
I love data. Yes.
Where can people find you, your podcast, learn more?
Yes. So Everything's Messy podcast is Spotify, Apple, most every platform you can think of. It's also on YouTube.
And on your t-shirt.
And on my yes, on my t-shirt. And then Everything's Messy Wellness is my website. And I love people to challenge maybe some of the things because I am very unconventional. I do buck the medical system.
Yeah.
And it's not to be controversial or to be, in a shock way. It's actually to get people to, understand you might not need what they're telling you. Do your own research.
Yeah.
For me, I found out I didn't need a statin. I didn't have high blood pressure, so I shouldn't be taking high blood pressure medicine. I was actually passing out all the time. But that's the standard American cocktail that they give you for having a heart attack. But I didn't need these things. So I did, and I'm not telling anybody to go against their doctor.
Yeah.
But we call it the conventional medical system for a reason.
Yeah.
I'm trying to buck it a little bit just to get people to ask the right questions.
No, as you should. Everybody should be asking the correct questions. Everybody is different. We're not all the same. So, and just like you said, sometimes someone's going to have one level versus another, but just because you're in this age group, you would expect it. Everything needs to be verified. Sarah, thank you so much for coming in and sharing more about Everything's Messy, your story, your journey, and everybody tune in.
Yes, thank you.